What's happening? A happy Tuesday night to all of you out there with this breaking news edition of the podcast. This is your Wednesday podcast happening on Tuesday night. That's how it's going to work. I was literally driving down to Delaware, got into the hotel room, pulled up my phone, and started to look at the news that I missed over the past 6, 7, 8 hours. And what do you know? There it is. Drake Maye is going to start this weekend. Against the Houston Texans. So here I am. I apologize if the audio is a little off. I apologize if the video is not as good. But here I am. Got to do this podcast, not missing this news. I told you I was traveling down to Virginia Beach. And if this broke, I was going to be all over it. So here I am, all over it. Let's get into the decision by the Patriots, whether I agree or disagree with it. I want to know from you right off the bat. Do you agree with the decision made by Drake Maye and the Patriots to start Drake Maye this weekend against the Texans? Do you agree with that decision or disagree with that decision? Throw it into the comment section. Of course, I always ask, if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit that thumbs up, that like button. More likes means more eyeballs. Build the community so you can like, you can comment, and subscribe. Those things you do doesn't cost you any money. Doesn't take you much time, but it helps us an awful lot. So like, comment, and subscribe. All right, Andrew Callahan posted this just a little while ago. One Patriots veteran is happy that Drake Maye has made the decision to start Drake Maye, believing it will make the offense more aggressive. Another Patriots veteran confirmed that Maye has performed well in practice, but didn't have a feel how games will go. Callahan also says two outside front office executives were surprised. One sensed the Patriots felt pressure to change quarterbacks. Another didn't believe this was a pure coaching decision. We'll get to that in a couple of minutes. I want to start here because I think it would be really, it would not be fair to Drake Maye for me to sit here and tell you that, oh, this is going to be a disaster. It'll be a catastrophe. I don't believe in Drake Maye. No, let me first say this. I want to get this out of the way. I am excited about Drake Maye. I love the pick back in April. I believe that Drake Maye will be a legitimate NFL franchise quarterback. I am excited to see him play. I am excited about his future. I want to see him play this season. He obviously has a higher ceiling than Jacoby Brissett has. We all know that. So, yes, there's legitimate excitement to watch Drake Maye play football. And there's part of me that can't wait to see him out there play football because I think he's incredibly talented. However, I do not agree with the decision that has been made unless the team is out on Maye, out on Brissett. If the team has said we're out on Brissett, we have quit on Brissett. I said this on yesterday's podcast. If Mayo knows that the players are out on Brissett, the teammates don't feel the vibe, they want Maye to start, they believe Maye gives them the best chance to win football games. If that's the case, then I understand the move. But we have no reports. We have absolutely zero reports saying that the players or the majority of the players went to Mayo and asked for this change. This change came from Mayo. This change came from management. It did not come from the players. So if it was a situation where the team was freaking out, and I mean the players on the team, and they said, did you just see what happened with Jacoby Brissett on Sunday? Did you see him play against San Francisco? Coach, we can't have Brissett be our starting quarterback. He's giving us almost no chance to win football games. Then I would understand. But we haven't seen any of that. So I do not understand this decision for several reasons. I'll start here. I was doing my research today on the Houston Texans before I left the house, before we started our travel down to Delaware. And I was doing this research and I was looking at the numbers. I was looking at the analytics. And I said to myself, holy crap, this is a nightmare matchup for the Patriots. The Texans defense, the Texans pass rush. This is a terrible scenario. And before I left my house today with my lovely wife and dog, before we left the house today, I said to myself, there's no way I would start Drake Maye this weekend. There's no chance in hell I would start Maye this weekend with this matchup. I would not do it. There's just no shot. Wouldn't even think about it. Would not even entertain the idea. You want to know why? I'll run through some of the numbers. The Texans passing defense, and I see your super chats. I will get to your super chats. If you want to jump to the front of the line with a comment or a question, you can send a super chat. I will get to them. I promise you. Here is the Texans passing defense. Third lowest yards per game. They've given up the third fewest passing yards per game in football. They have the number one pressure rate in all of the NFL. They are literally the best pass rush defense through the first 5 weeks of the season. Number one, they get 42% pressure rate. 42% of the time, they get pressure on the quarterback. The Patriots have been giving up 43, 44% pressure rate throughout the season. This is just a perfect storm for the Texans. When they go in on Sunday, they're looking at an offensive line that has had some issues, and they, the Texans, say to themselves, we can get at these guys. The number one team in pressure rate in the NFL going against one of the worst pass protection teams in all of football. Think about how that combination works in your mind. Do you feel good about it? I don't. The Texans are 7th in sack rate. The Texans also are number 7 in football in blitz rate. They blitz 31% of the time. What have we seen for the first, I should say, the last 3 weeks? The Jets did not blitz a ton, right? Before they played the Patriots. All of a sudden, they blitzed more than a third of the time. The 49ers, one of the lowest blitz rates in football before they played the Patriots. Before they played the Patriots, San Francisco blitzed 14% of the time. Playing the Patriots, they blitzed almost a third of the time. Last week, Miami, not a team that blitzes a lot. What did we say as we previewed that football game last Friday? If you're going off the indicators, right? If you're looking at how teams are playing the Patriots and the trends should tell you that the Miami Dolphins were going to blitz a lot more than they blitzed anybody else, and that's precisely what happened. So what we've seen the last 3 weeks, teams, defenses, have looked at the Patriots on film, and they have said, even though we don't like to blitz, we don't blitz a lot, we are going to blitz this football team a ton. And now you're going against the Houston Texans, who have the 7th highest blitz rate in football, going against a quarterback that is starting, if we want to count the couple of minutes against the Jets, starting his first NFL game that matters. They are not only throwing Drake Maye into the pool, they are throwing Drake Maye into the very, very, very deep end of that pool. This matchup is a nightmare. It's a nightmare for the Patriots offense. And they go to Drake Maye. The Texans, it gets tougher. They are 4th in football in pass rush win rate. I mean, you go up and down the numbers. Number 1 in pressure rate. Number 7 in sack rate. Number 7 in blitz rate. Number 4 in team pass rush win rate. Their pass rush, according to ESPN, literally wins half the time. That's outrageous. This team's pass rush win rate is 50%. And they're led by not 1, but 2 pass rushing beasts. Danielle Hunter is 10th in football in pass rush win rate. Will Anderson is 13th in pass rush win rate. They have 2 top 15 pass rushing edges through the first 5 weeks of this season. This is what Drake Maye is going to face on Sunday. His first NFL start. He's going against arguably the best pass rush in football with 2 of the best pass rushers in football. So the matchup is a nightmare. Last week, the Texans played against Josh Allen. Josh Allen went 9 of 30 in that football game for 131 yards. Josh Allen was playing like an MVP. He ran into the Texans, and he did not look anywhere near close to that kind of football player against this defense. And Josh Allen is supposed to be Drake Maye's ceiling. And Allen struggled against this defense. Houston's defense is number 3. Number 3 in DVOA, the third best defense in football. Patriots offensive line, again, has yet to allow a pressure rate lower than 42% in a game this season. Mina Kimes reacted to this decision, and she posted the Texans who pressured Caleb Williams on 48% of his dropbacks in week 2 and sacked him 7 times. You look at the number 1 pick in the draft, Caleb Williams, who, by the way, the last 2 or 3 weeks has started to play great football. Caleb Williams, in his second NFL start against this defense, Chicago's offensive line, not very good. In week 2, Houston pressured Caleb Williams 48% of the time, and they sacked him 7 times. And this is the matchup that Jerod Mayo chose to be the one for Drake Maye to start. Hate it. Hate the decision. Love Drake Maye. Excited about him. Excited about his future. Hate this decision by Jerod Mayo. The plan, quote unquote, was not this matchup. You can't talk me into believing that. Even if you want Drake Maye to play, even if you believe this is the right move, you can't even talk yourself into believing that this was the quote unquote plan. There's no way on God's green earth that the Patriots looked at this matchup when the season began and said, you know when we should start Drake Maye? We should start Drake Maye against DeMeco Ryans, that talented Houston defense with 2 crazy-ass pass rushers. That's when we should start Drake Maye. There's no way, no how they said that. This is a decision that has to be questioned. Let me ask you this, and I'll get to your super chats. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as we hang out on this Tuesday night. Again, apologize if the audio is not great. Apologize for the video. It is what it is. I'm in a hotel room in Delaware. Had to do this podcast. Have to talk with all of you. Let me ask you this. What's the drawback of waiting one more week? How do you hurt anything by waiting one more week? When you look at this schedule and you look at this matchup that's happening this weekend, one of the best defenses in the league, one of the best pass rushes in the league, why not just start Drake Maye in London? Why wouldn't you just start him in London? If you're wondering, the Jacksonville Jaguars are 29th in football in pressure rate. 29th. The Jacksonville Jaguars have one of the worst pass rushes in the NFL. The Patriots play the Jaguars 1 week from Sunday. But instead of playing Drake Maye against one of the worst pass rushes in football, the Patriots, Jerod Mayo, has decided to start him in his first NFL start against the best pass rush in football. How does that make sense? You're not going anywhere this year. You're 1-4. This is not a playoff team. Why start him this week? Why could you not just wait one more week and say, we'll play him in London because Jacksonville's defense isn't good? Why would you throw him in this moment? It just makes absolutely zero sense. Absolutely zero sense. Why not give this offensive line at least one more game to settle itself? I said this yesterday. Nick Leverett was an abomination against the Dolphins. The rest of that offensive line actually played pretty well. Mike Onwenu gave up 4 pressures. I'm not concerned about Mike Onwenu. But I wanted to see this offensive line get one more week of continuity. Give the O-line one more week of continuity. And then play your rookie quarterback against a much, much worse defense. Does that not make sense to you? Is the world going to change if the Patriots start Drake Maye against a worse defense in London instead of starting him this weekend? Is the world going to change starting him this weekend instead of starting him against Jacksonville? I think it makes much more sense to start your rookie quarterback the first game that he's going to play in the NFL that matters. I would just have to think, why not find the soft landing when it's right there, when it's right in your face? Why not take the soft landing? Why not give Drake Maye the best possible opportunity to succeed in his first NFL start? And look, Maye could shock the world. And if Maye shocks the world, he plays great against Houston, I will be on this podcast Monday, 3 p.m. live, and I will be doing jumping jacks and saying, oh my goodness, oh my freaking goodness, what a job by Drake Maye. Unbelievable. Starting him against Houston did not, hurt him in any kind of way. I'll be the first one to say it. But if you have the option of playing a rookie quarterback for the first time in his NFL career, starting him for the first time, I would like to get his feet wet against a team that I don't think could absolutely hammer him and hammer you. Is Maye even ready? One of my rules was if you're going to start Drake Maye better be ready. He has to be ready, right? If he's not ready, you don't play him. I don't care about the fans. I don't care about the media. I don't care about anything. If Drake Maye is not ready to play, then you don't play him. Is Drake Maye ready? Well, it depends. Greg Bedard told me on our podcast that, last week that Drake Maye, from what he heard, he wasn't ready. He was not ready to start a game late last week. Doug Kyde wrote this today. Maye has been improving in practice. That was from a team evaluator. But then Doug Kyde wrote this. The 22-year-old quarterback still makes some errors and will occasionally revert to bad habits. But overall, he's performing well. The thought from one team evaluator is that any rookie mistakes Maye makes will be outweighed by the upside he brings. Hopefully, maybe not. Not if the issues roll downhill. I want to read that line again from Doug Kyde. Maye's been improving in practice, but he still makes some errors and will occasionally revert to bad habits. From the very beginning, I've said, I'm not as worried about Maye getting hurt as I am about him regressing. And if you throw him in too early, if you throw him in against a very difficult matchup, I have that concern that Maye will start to follow those bad habits, right? And he will regress. And within a few weeks, within 4 or 5 weeks, all of the progress that had been made ends up being destroyed because you threw him in a little too early, or maybe you threw him in against a team that is just too damn good to play him against at this point, right now, in this moment. The Jets game, there was a couple of okay plays from Drake Maye during that game in garbage time. But there were also a few plays that were not good. And I'm telling you right now, that Jets defense is not close to what Houston does when it comes to rushing the passer. I am worried about regression from Maye in his first start. In his very first start, I'm concerned about him falling back to some of those bad habits. And by the third quarter, fourth quarter, we see a rookie quarterback that's already trying to, figure himself out in the pocket, looking around. He's not Jaden Daniels. He's not Caleb Williams. He's not Bo Nix when it came to his level of readiness for the league. So if it's me, I'm waiting a week. I'm waiting a week. And I said that on yesterday's podcast because I think this is a very, very difficult matchup for the Patriots, no matter who the quarterback is. And I'm worried about that regression. There is inherent risk to this. And I would have erred on the side of caution. I would have waited until that Jacksonville game against a much worse defense to see if my rookie quarterback can kind of get settled, get into a rhythm, and feel good about himself. All right, let's jump to some of these super chats. I appreciate your super chats. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Click that thumbs up. Every time you hit that thumbs up, it helps beat the algorithm, slaps it in the face. And don't forget to also comment. Do you agree with this decision? Do you disagree with the decision? Kyle Kirk, $5. Thanks for the $5, Kyle. Appreciate you. Panic move by inept coaching staff. Maye will not have the ball in his hands against Houston's pass rush, or Maye will get demolished by AVP's ineptitude. What about Alex Van Pelt's play calling makes you feel good? And I understand people are going to say, Nick, what's the difference if Van Pelt is the play caller 2 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now? I get it. But again, I'm talking about starting him and starting his NFL career at the right time against the right opponent. And to throw him against this Houston defense after what we just saw from AVP against Miami, to throw him against this specific defense, it doesn't make much sense to me. Not the end of the world, but I disagree with the decision. And it's not because of Drake Maye. I said it at the beginning of this podcast. Maybe you guys are just jumping in, some of you, right? I appreciate you. Come on in. The beer is cold. Enjoy yourself. I am not sitting here and saying this is a bad idea because I don't believe in Drake Maye. I believe in Drake Maye. I'm excited to see Drake Maye play. But if I'm the coach, I'm not starting him against the best pass rush in football for his first NFL start when my offensive line has not proven itself. Nick Leverett gave up 10 pressures last week. So I want to put Drake Maye into a position that gives him the best opportunity to start his career off on a high note and not get demolished. And I have serious concern that on Sunday, he's going to get demolished. Steven jumps in, $5 super chat. Thank you, Steven, for the 5. Panic move. If Jalen Polk catches the touchdown, Jacoby is still the starter. That's how you know it wasn't the plan. It was a panic move. Terrible spot from Maye. Hard to disagree with that. Jalen Polk isn't how you feel about it, a victim of the awful rule, or Jacoby throws a little bit better of a football, or Jalen Polk handles his footwork better near the back of the end zone. I think it's a crap rule. But if that stands, if that's a touchdown and the Patriots win against Miami, I agree with Steven. There's no chance that Drake Maye would start this game on Sunday if Jacoby Brissett and Jalen Polk connect for that TD and the Patriots win against Miami. I don't think there's any shot. I think the Patriots would wait at least until Jacksonville, if not later, maybe Tennessee, maybe Indy. I don't think this decision happens if it wasn't for that game. And that's also a huge issue, which I will get into. Justin, TF Patriot, $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Justin. Let's go, Maye. Should have started against Miami. Can't go back to Brissett now. Nick, go to Commonwealth Brewing for me. Hashtag Nick Spear Money. Yeah, Kelly and I will absolutely be hitting up Commonwealth at least once while we're in Virginia Beach. There's no doubt. It's one of our favorite spots. So Justin is excited to see Drake Maye start. And look, if you guys are excited again, if you're excited, if you think this is the right move, it's just an opinion. And I get the excitement. I'm excited to see Drake Maye play. I'm excited, but I'm also terrified by playing him in this spot. And I don't think it's the right spot to play him. Nelson Lloyd jumps in. Nelson Lloyd with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Nelson, for the $5. This is the real question. Does Brissett really give you the best chance to win any games? No. I don't think Brissett gives you the best chance to win football games anymore. I honestly don't. I think Drake Maye gives you a better chance to win games because he's more talented. He has the much higher ceiling. Nobody would sit here and tell you that Brissett is more talented than Drake Maye. If anybody said that, don't listen to them ever again. Don't talk to them about football. Act as if they don't exist on Sundays because that doesn't make any sense. It's not, to me, I'm not worried about, wins and losses right now. I'm concerned about Drake Maye's progression. I'm concerned about putting him in a spot that's incredibly difficult that might impact the beginning of his career negatively. And if you have the option, that's the thing. It's not like the Patriots are facing 3 straight incredible defenses. If you have the option to let this offensive line gain another week of continuity and say, you know what, we're going to pump the brakes just for one more week because we don't like this matchup. This matchup's a disaster. To me, this decision, like Steven said, to a point, this decision to me is made by a coaching staff that is desperate. This reeks of desperation to me. This reeks of a first-time head coach who is replacing the greatest coach of all time, whose team is 1-4. A lot of people, fans, media, people are questioning the head coach. They're wondering if he's in over his head. They're questioning the offensive coordinator, Alex Van Pelt, who I absolutely wrecked on yesterday's podcast, has been awful. And this move reeks of desperation. This move reeks, which was asked just a moment ago in the super chat. Well, we probably have a better chance of winning with Drake Maye on Sunday, so why don't we just play Drake Maye? Even if you have almost no shot of winning, it still feels like we're going to play the young guy, not because it's right for the young guy, not because it's a good spot for the rookie quarterback. We're going to start him because, man, we need a win. We need a win. This team needs a win. It reeks of desperation. It really does. There's no other, to me, there's no other reasonable argument to pick this game to be the game for Drake Maye to start. It feels like a coaching staff that's feeling the pressure, and maybe somebody else other than the coaching staff. You know, again, 1-4 football team. I saw Mike Giardi post earlier that there were at least, 5 occasions where the fans were booing the team, booing the offense coming off the field. I feel like Jerod Mayo has wanted to make this decision before this very moment. I think if Jerod Mayo had his way, he would have started Drake Maye at the beginning of the year, even if he wasn't anywhere near ready. Because, again, there's no argument as far as talent goes. Maye is the more talented player. And this just feels like a reaction move to, we're not playing well. People are questioning us coaching-wise. We got to do something to change things up. Jabril Peppers gets arrested over the weekend. Nothing is really going right. Guys are injured. We got to turn the tide here. And that's not the right reason to start Maye. You start Maye if you feel like he's ready to play and things are settled for him and you're not necessarily going against the best pass rush in football. But there's calls for AVP's job. The offensive coordinator's feeling the heat. Mayo was asked by the media yesterday if he would consider getting rid of Alex Van Pelt, changing the offensive coordinator. Mayo knows, Van Pelt knows, the Crafts know that the fan base is frustrated, they're disappointed, they're pissed, and they're tired of watching a football team that struggles. But I hate this matchup on Sunday for Drake Maye. I hate it. Let me ask you this, and I want your thoughts. Throw a comment in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Do you trust Mayo to make this decision after what we've seen? I know many of you want to see Drake Maye play. I want to see Drake Maye play. Can't say it enough. I'm excited to see him play. Hate this spot this weekend. Don't think it's the right decision to start him this weekend against Houston. But do you trust Jerod Mayo making this decision? Because I'll tell you what, there's not many things that Mayo has done the last 3.5, 4 weeks of football that makes me feel confident that he's making the right call here. The decision-making process by Mayo on the field, highly questionable. It is fair to wonder if Mayo is making the right call here. And what are his intentions? Why is he making the call when he's making this call? And from what you've seen from him as a head coach, does that give you any confidence that he is making this call at the right time? I don't have confidence right now. I have more questions about Mayo than I have answers. And I have serious concerns that the rookie head coach is making this call out of desperation because he's feeling a little bit of the heat. And he wants to bring in Drake Maye Because if Drake Maye loses games, well, he's the rookie quarterback, right? He's the rookie quarterback. It's a learning curve. There's a little bit of wiggle room there. If you continue to play Brissett, everybody has the question, why didn't he go to Maye? Maye's more talented. But if you go to Maye and you still lose games with Drake Maye, Gerard Mayo could say, well, hey, what do you expect? What do you expect from me? So I have questions about the process. I have questions about Gerard Mayo's process. Now, I don't think it's ownership, but I think the question is fair to ask because it certainly seems like, you go back just a week or two ago and Gerard Mayo's telling us that Jacoby Brissett is 100% the quarterback of this team. Now you fast forward and they're not only deciding to play Drake Maye, they're starting him against this specific defense. So I think it's fair to ask the question. Now, I don't think ownership would make this decision. I don't think ownership would get involved at that level. But again, I could be wrong. I think this is a Gerard Mayo decision. If it was a Kraft decision, that's even worse. Because then we're going down a whole different rabbit hole, right? We're talking about a completely different set of circumstances. If it was the ownership who made this call. All right, got a couple more super chats here. Josh Gemini jumps in with a $5 super chat. Why does it feel like this new front office and coaching staff's moves and decisions are always reactionary and behind the eight ball? I agree, Josh. I could not agree more. I said it yesterday. Gerard Mayo, Alex Van Pelt, even Covington. It does feel like when you're watching this team, they are reacting to what the other team is doing instead of imposing their will against the opposition. They always seem like they're reacting. The processing on the sidelines seems slow. And look, there's a learning curve. I did not expect Gerard Mayo would have all the answers. But I think it's fair watching this team and watching him coach. It absolutely is reactionary. And that's why I asked the question, are you concerned about Mayo making this decision and whether or not he's making the decision for the right reasons? I just think, starting Maye against this specific defense is a bad move. It's a bad decision. And I'm not telling you that Drake Maye's career is over and, this year's going to be a disaster for him. But if I was making the choice, I would have started him against Jacksonville and London. That to me makes a hell of a lot more sense than pulling the trigger this week against Houston. And I know many of you will disagree, and that's cool. Again, fan how you want to fan. You have opinions. It's great. If you think this is the right move, awesome. I think all of us want this to work out. I want it to work out. I would not be happier to jump on Monday to do this podcast and tell all of you, mea culpa, mea culpa. Maye was awesome. And it was exciting to watch him play, and it was the right call. And I will admit that I was wrong if I'm wrong. But I don't feel good about Sunday. I'm not talking about the future. I'm talking about Sunday. I don't feel good about Sunday. And I don't feel good about Drake Maye being thrown out there against this defense on Sunday. Don't feel good about it at all. Terry Grant jumps in with a $19.99 super chat. Thanks for the vacation podcast to discuss. Yeah, again, tomorrow, no podcast live. It's not going to happen. This is the Wednesday podcast on Tuesday night. I think this is desperate and would have waited for London and the Jags. I agree with you, Terry. I agree with you. If you have your choice to give Drake Maye his first shot at starting an NFL game, if I'm Gerard Mayo and after what I've seen from Alex Van Pelt going against D'Amico Ryans and this Houston defense, just thinking about it has me concerned. So I agree. I do think it reeks of desperation. I do think this is, let's just go with Drake Maye because he's more talented and let's hope that he can pull out a win so people can start getting off our backs. That's what it feels like to me. It feels like a move out of desperation because if you think football-wise and you think planning-wise, then this makes no sense. It makes no fundamental sense, football-wise, to start your rookie quarterback who was more raw than other rookie quarterbacks starting this year to play him this weekend against this defense. It just doesn't make any football sense to me when you look at the matchup. I think you're, setting up the rookie to fail on Sunday. And I don't think if the team loses and he fails, it's on Drake Maye. If this is, ugly on Sunday and May has issues right away, then Gerard Mayo and Alex Van Pelt deserve all the criticism in the world. If he looks like he's lost by the third quarter, that's on the coaching staff. That's not on the quarterback. And so that's just the way it feels to me. It feels like this is a coaching staff that understands that they're under fire. And you sold the plan to everybody. You told us that you had a plan and nothing was going to rush the plan. It's tough for me to believe that you sat there looking at this schedule, mapping out a quote unquote plan, and this was the game that you chose. A playoff team with a damn good defensive coordinator with the best pass rush in football. That was your plan. When you sat down and you planned this out, you said, when we should start Drake Maye? Let's start him against Houston. I mean, you look at this schedule, right? You got Jacksonville coming up. You've got the Jets who just fired Robert Saleh today. You've got the Colts who aren't very good defensively, especially. You got Tennessee coming up. I mean, you've got an assortment of mediocre to bad football teams coming up on the schedule over the next month. You pick this game? Feels like a coaching staff that's feeling the heat. Or maybe ownership. Maybe it's ownership feeling the heat. I don't know who's feeling the heat. But this feels like, man, oh man, the stadium was not full 10 minutes before the game on Sunday. Fans were booing. We're 1-4. We're getting killed by the media. The coaching staff is getting crushed. Let's go to the kid. Let's get Drake Maye out there to try to stir some excitement up. And that's not why you should start him. You should not start him to try to stir up excitement because your team has stunk and your coaching staff has stunk. So I just disagree with the decision. And I hope that Drake Maye plays well on Sunday. I hope he proves me wrong. I hope he puts things together. Again, I'm excited for Drake Maye. I believe in Drake Maye. I'm excited to see him play on Sunday, but I am very concerned that he's playing against an incredibly difficult matchup, and this decision was made by a coaching staff that is desperate to win a football game. And that's why they made the switch, not because it was right for Drake Maye. But I'll be there on Sunday at my bar, probably down in Virginia Beach. I will be cheering and drinking and hoping that Drake Maye makes some plays. And I come up on here on Monday and I'm, looking like an idiot. I hope I look like an idiot on Monday. I really do. I hope I look like a moron. By the way, Anonymous with the $10 super chat. Thank you, Anonymous. Does this allow AVP to keep his job longer? I think so. Now, some might argue and say, well, he has the more talented quarterback. Maye is more talented than Brissett. So how does this help AVP keep his job longer? I think Van Pelt could say, look, rookie quarterback. We have to slowly develop him. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots run the football 50 times on Sunday, by the way. Like, Drake Maye might hand the ball off 50 times. I don't even know how many passes he's going to throw. But, yes, I think that AVP can use Drake Maye as a crutch because even if he starts off slow, if you think about it this way, Anonymous, you throw Drake Maye in against the Texans. Let's say the Patriots get smoked. The pass rush is just overwhelming. Maye doesn't look comfortable. It's a bad day at the office on Sunday. So let's say that Drake Maye and the Patriots don't look good on Sunday. Well, now you look at the next few weeks after that, right? And there's a chance, and I would even say there's a probability. There's a high probability that Drake Maye is going to look much better against the Indianapolises, the Jets, the Jaguars, the Titans. He's going to look much better against those teams than he looks against Houston. And so that will allow Van Pelt to say, yeah, he got off to a really rough start. It was his first start, but now look at him. He's playing pretty well, right? He's playing pretty well. And if we end the season feeling like Drake Maye has started to develop, that gives Van Pelt a much better shot at keeping his job. So I think, I think that this will help Van Pelt keep his job a little bit longer. Will he be able to keep his job the rest of the year? If the offense continues to stink and you have the better quarterback, the more talented quarterback, that's the tough conversation. That's the tough argument for Van Pelt. But Van Pelt can push back and say, hey, look, we threw the rookie in. We knew he needed more work. It is what it is. Don't blame me. You could look at it that way as well. Don't forget to press that thumbs up, right? Hit that thumbs up. More thumbs means more eyeballs. That's how we beat the algorithm on YouTube. Don't forget to throw a comment in, whether you agree or disagree with me on this. Always love to see your comments. And don't forget to subscribe. Trying to hit 4,500 subscribers. We're about 150 away. Let's make that push. No podcast tomorrow at 3 o'clock. This is your podcast for Wednesday. This is the podcast. It's happening right now. So no pod on Wednesday. But Friday, we will have the preview pod, Texans, Patriots. I'll dig more into Drake Maye. We'll look at what he can do, because I do think there are things that Drake Maye can do that will help this offense, that will help this football team. It's not all a loss. Again, I'm excited to see him play. I do think there are some things that he can do on Sunday that will help this offense and help the operation. So we'll get into that on Friday at 3 p.m. live here on YouTube. I appreciate everybody. I'm going to go eat some din now. Dinner time. Until Friday, I appreciate every single one of you. It's the Nick Cattle Show.